Hey, what's up, guys? It is Kieran Rodriguez here. I am back with another awesome video today with the most awesome fighter that I am pleasure to have here today, Miss Awesome Black Rose Czarina Mccoy. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome. Um, I guess that's the first question that I always bring up with any athlete. Just tell the world who you are and how'd you get into the sport of boxing.
All right. Well, my name is Samira Mccoy. I am a professional boxer, 7-0 with 2 knockouts. I just won my first title, so I just won the WIPA flyweight championship. My last fight last month, I got into the sport of boxing. It was when I first moved to Vegas. I was looking for gymnastics. I ended up walking into the wrong gym. And right when I was about to leave, Hall of Famer Richard Still, he owned the gym. It's the Richard Still gym. So that's the gym I actually walked into. He came up to me and he's like, "Can you fight?" And I was like, "I'm okay. Great, we'll try it out. If you like it, then keep going. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul, right?" So I guess boxing found me. I was looking for gymnastics, but boxing was like, come over here. Go try this out. And I've just been ever since.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, you have a really outstanding amateur background and you've been at it with some really top names, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you dive deeper into that? Did you ever go into the Olympics or whatever, right?
When I was in the amateurs, I was on Team USA for most of the time that I was in the amateurs. I finished my amateur career with 5 national championships. I did not go to the Olympic trials, and I did not try to go to the Olympics. I had already turned pro. That was initially the main goal, was to go for the Olympics, but due to like certain circumstances, I just decided that it would be best for me to turn pro when I turned 18.
Yeah, got it. Because I believe just to get into the Olympics, you have to go through like a long process just to even be qualified for like the trials, right? Before you actually get ticketed in, right?
Um, yes and no. So you have to go to qualifiers, and then you have to go to nationals, and then you get to go to the Olympic trials. It's. I mean, it is a long process, but when you're in the amateurs, everything is kind of a long process. Because you have to go to qualifiers and nationals anyways. Like you can't go to nationals unless you win qualifiers anyways. So it kind of just fit together. The long process is fighting in the Olympics.
Wow.
Like the long, because they're out there for like 2 weeks fighting, like 2 weeks straight. I think that's like the longest process. I feel like that's longer than, but yeah, you have to go to qualifiers, like nationals, trials, then you can hit the Olympics, which isn't really an issue for me. Like the process wasn't an issue for me. I just wasn't sure if USA was going to be allowed to go to the Olympics at the time that I was in the amateurs, and I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to, have my dad spend money to take me to tournament that whole year, and make it. And then I was like, the biggest letdown is I'm gonna do this all year, and then if I make the team, they're like, "Oh, you guys aren't competing. I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
I would have been like, "Give me all my money back."
Yeah, cause I used to wrestle in high school, and that was like the same thing. Like, if you want to make it to the Olympics, you got to go through journeyman, you got to go through multiple tournaments, and like you're wasting all this money when you should get paid for it. Because I'm not like the one to deny economics behind it, but at least make like a market for it, so that way people could get some income for it. Because I wouldn't have done any sports at all if I'm not gonna get some form of value from it. Because if you could go into high school and play basketball and then you get a scholarship to go to Duke University, why can't you do that in the sport of boxing? Especially if you're gonna, like, right?
Yeah. And then you'd be surprised because most colleges don't provide a boxing scholarship.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like LV, I go to UNLV, right? And UNLV has a boxing team.
Yeah.
Literally has a boxing team. And don't provide any boxing scholarships at all. Like, how do you have a boxing team and you don't provide a boxing scholarship?
Yeah.
Like, to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because, you see all these teams that are being sponsored heavy with a lot of state subsidy and a lot of, co-sponsorships from any like financial firms that get into it, but it's like, like why can't like boxing have that? Boxing can easily outweigh all those sports, but it's just that, there's no exposure for it. And I just never really got so deep into it because I was just always thinking that, with this industry, there would be some form of financial structure. But now that I see that the major cracks in it, I can understand why it's so difficult just to even find like a place, to start just to get your career rolling. Because it's like, one, you put your life on the line, and two, you don't have that many, people as proper resources to know which path is the right path, for you, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I also wanted to ask one more question out of the amateurs. Did you ever, I guess, like run into some big names out of the amateurs that you fought, or?
Like people that I fought. I never fought anybody who's pro now.
No.
Everybody that I have fought in the amateurs is still in the amateurs. I'm a person. I think out of my group who has turned pro. Like out of my group of when I was on the team and when I was amateur, like the people I fought and who was on the team with me, I believe I'm the only one who's turned pro. Yeah. Because the little group before me was like the Shakur, Clarissa. That group was the group like above me, and then it was my group, and then the group below me. And yeah, I'm the only one out of my group who's turned pro. So yeah, everybody's still amateur.
Yeah, because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I guess like you have like some, big, I don't know, like controversial, disputes with some people that have had, some, history with you, right? I'm not like as far as like your amateur history goes, like, I've been hearing that, some people have said that you've had some history with like some other ladies that have, came across with you in the amateurs, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because two people that I wanted to bring up was I don't know if you know these girls, but the first one is Shariah Moreo and Natalie Duff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they I was basically I think I was in Shariah's Instagram live one day, and I brought your name up because she was talking about female boxing, and then she brought up, I guess, like something as far as like the amateur goes, that for all these girls that are fighting, they only pick like a select few that they focus on, but they don't give shine to like to everyone else. And I guess she was like kind of jealous in a way because like not everybody's being represented properly, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, so she was just saying that I was like one of those select few.
Yeah. Because like I was kind of like bringing up about the fact about women's boxing just needing to have more exposure, and then she was like talking about certain fights that she likes to see, and then I brought your name up, and then I said, well, I think you should fight Sinisa Estrada, which I'll get to that later, but she was basically saying, oh well, I'd like to see that, but like what does she have done within her career, blah blah blah. She doesn't seem to be like talked about that much, and she needs to work her way up. And I'm just like, well, don't you still want to see let the best fight the best, regardless of like what you have against these people?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just confused.
Yeah. As far as that goes, like to respond to that, I feel like that is a very good point to make on her part because I have a lot to not to prove, because I feel personally like I don't have to prove anything. I know that I'm the best, so I don't really have to prove that. But personally, I did just start, I'm still a baby in the pros. When you turn pro, you restart. You reset. It doesn't matter how high up I was in the amateurs, I reset. And I'm not taking away from the hard work or the time that other women have put into being professional. And I do know that I need to work my way up, and that's what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm hitting these fights so often. That's why I've been training so hard, going to and from Mexico every month, every other month. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. As far as having to fight other women to prove that I'm good enough for a specific woman, I don't think that that's necessary. If I know that I'm the best, and multiple other people know that I'm the best, me fighting another woman to get to this woman, it doesn't make sense to me. What does me beating her have to do with me beating you? Because at the end of the day, styles make fights. And there's a lot of women that I feel like are going to give me a harder time than the women that everyone esteems to be the best in my weight class. Quite frankly, I have seen more talent come from women who aren't considered the best than I do from women who are. So as far as saying who has she fought to prove that she should be there, that she should fight this person, I don't need to fight anybody to prove that I should fight this person. I should fight this person because the sport of boxing is the best fighting the best. And if the best is not fighting the best, then it's not boxing.
Yeah, it's not boxing no more. It's the same thing with wrestling, but wrestling is the other way around. The best always fight the best in a wrestling match. You never see no bum in a wrestling match. It's always going to be a 50-50, dispute.
That's something that we need to bring back to boxing, because people have gotten complacent with fighting just anybody and fighting what's easy and picking who's easy. And that's not really how the sport should be. The sport is about fighting the best, to be the best.
Yeah.
You can't really call yourself the best if you're not fighting the best.
Yeah, because
not fighting somebody or ducking or whatever you're that's not the best. Not in my eyes.
Yeah, that's how I am towards any big name, especially towards guys like Canelo or people like just anybody that I put down as like a hype job fighter as of now, and the fighters that are actually like really really good fighters that aren't talked about a lot. Those fighters I give more credibility to because they're doing all the heavy lifting to get up to beat those guys that are being hyped up. So, I don't, give a lot of respect to guys that are ducking and dodging just to get an easy way to the top. I want to see my fighter demolish everyone, regardless of what the politics are, because, there shouldn't be any politics. We should all come into the sport, competing to be number one. But how can I be number one if I can't get the fights made? I'm, just basically being like a sitting duck, and I'm calling out everybody's name, but nobody don't want to answer my doorbell. So
right.
So I wanted to bring up the dispute that you had with Sanisha Estrada. How did that ever come about? Right.
Well, I'm just gonna put this out there right now that I don't have beef with anybody. If you have beef with me, that's a you problem. I'm cool with everybody. But obviously, in these interviews, you guys do like to ask about people in my weight class or, around my weight class, the best, the title holders, whoever they are, and whether or not I feel as if I can beat them. So when I was just starting to gain a little bit of a fan base in my pro career, a lot of interviewers were asking me, because I was getting a lot of interviews in the pandemic. I was getting interview after interview after interview. And a lot of them were like, well, Sanisha Estrada just got her belt. How do you feel about that? If you guys were to fight, how do you think that would go? And I was honest about how I felt. I'm going to whoop her. Like, there's no me losing to her. In my mind, there's no me losing to her, and, just commenting on her stuff, like, fighting, like, fight me,
Yeah, let's get it over with.
Exactly, let's do this, it's a pandemic, you don't got nothing to lose other than your belt, but, that's nothing, you know? So she was just like, came on a post that was made about me summer of last year, and she was being very disrespectful, like saying a lot of things about me. So it kind of got a little heated in the comment section. I'm not really about internet beef.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go back and forth with you on the internet, like, drop a contract and send it to me. You know, because I had tried to set up 2 separate fights during the pandemic. We were supposed to fight on 2 separate occasions in the pandemic. And both times we got right to the stage of where we were about to write up a contract and radio silence. Never heard from her after that. So it's like, at this point, to me, I have considered you ducking me twice. So now I'm on your head every opportunity I get. Not only were you disrespectful on the internet, but you also ducked me twice. So I'm on your head every chance I get. Every chance.
So basically, from your angle, from like what I'm interpreting, she's basically waving the white flag like Lomachenko did to Devin Haney, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much. In my eyes, you know, if you don't want to fight me, you will never be the best. It doesn't matter how many belts you can have them all. And I will never call you the best because you keep ducking me. And she's not taking into consideration that now is probably the best time in her career to fight me. Because even if she loses the 2 belts that she has, she still has like a ways to go and time to go in her career to, you know, get other belts or to get a bigger name for herself. If she fights me later on when she has every belt and I whoop her, then that means she loses everything at once.
Yeah, and you basically turn the tables against her, like, you know, like pulling off like a Errol Spence in a way. You just come right in, and then boom, you know, you just become pretty much like the apple cart upset.
Exactly. So trying to duck me, you're actually making a very bad business move.
Yep.
But that's not my problem. So if you want to wait until you have all your belts, I'll be happy to take them. You know, I got a lot of space. I got a lot of space to keep them. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, she's keeping them warm for me, and that's fine.
I see you definitely being a bad style matchup for her. And correct me if I'm wrong, you're a southpaw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, my philosophy is that I believe southpaws run boxing, and I just think that the more people keep avoiding them, the worse it gets for them at the end, because, you know, like you said, styles make fights, but if you come out with the more aggressive style that is harder to figure out and can't be figured out, then I think we already know what's going to be said and done if this fight does get made in the future, or when she will just admit that she can't beat you and then she'll just surrender her belt anyway. But I like the both of y'all. You know, I want to see y'all just get it over with, because, you know, I just think that this drama needs to stop with women or men not fighting each other, and all the fans are just basically like gatekeeping their fighter to make the excuses of their fighter not fighting the other guy or the other woman. And it's like, you know, it like, you know, this is what's making boxing very unpopular, because people are not, you know, coming eye to eye with the best fighting the best.
Right. I definitely agree with that. That we do need to step our game up, especially in this sport, in this day and age. And like, I get it, you know, you wanna, you have, a lot of people in the sport have this unrealistic expectation to have go through their whole career without any losses, without any draws. Honestly, and I learned this from the amateurs, not every decision is going to go in your way. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's very rare that you're going to be a Floyd Mayweather and go 50 fights without a loss or a draw. You know, like that is a rare thing. You know, you're not gonna, like, I know that other people try to do it, and a lot of fighters try to do it, and they try their best to avoid people who could give them an L on their record. But in my opinion, having an undefeated record doesn't make you the best, and it doesn't make you a champion. Like, a loss doesn't matter. Muhammad Ali had losses. Mike Tyson had losses. Roy Jones had losses. Sugar Ray Leonard Gregory Robertson, they all had losses. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a loss doesn't determine how much of a champion you are, or, like, you know, how great you are. Some of the greatest of all times have losses on their record. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's an unrealistic expectation to chase that and think, like, oh, well, I'm undefeated, so that makes me better than this person. Like, it doesn't. If you're a crappy person, you're not a better champion than this person. If you have been fighting tomato cans for 20 to 28 fights of your entire career, that doesn't make you the best because you have a belt. You beat up a woman who doesn't even know how to get in a stance. That doesn't make you the best. In fact, that makes me a lot of respect for you. So, you know, I just feel like that is a very unrealistic expectation that people in this sport try to reach.
Yeah, because that's really the problem that I have with a lot of fighters that are being hyped up fighting a bunch of, unskilled fighters that don't even match up to their level. And, I'm all for having iron sharpens iron, but if you're not testing your iron to make it more deadlier, then what's a sword compared to a machete that's not sharp? The machete, if you're not going to fight your highest contemporaries, then you're going to look worse in your next upcoming battles. And I just think that's what's really killing the sport really bad, because a lot of people's skill levels are just highly ungapped, where, I see these mismatches of, like, I'll just go with, like, fighters like, I'll use Rolly for a prime example. He did good in his, like, last fight against the Anthony Yidget guy, right? But that Yidget guy, he came to that fight on a short notice, right? And the last fight previous to that, Rolly did better against Avery Sparrow, and he actually boxed that, that fight itself. But the next fight after that, he started boxing, like, really, like, brawlish, very wild with his punches, and it didn't look like the same fighter that I saw from the previous fight. And I'm just thinking, like, well, why isn't he fighting guys that are going to give him an actual tough fight where he has to make proper decisions and actually be tested at at a level, so that way, his skills can actually be shown to the world of how he actually fights. Because I would believe that, he wouldn't be throwing all these crazy punches and possibly getting himself into a bad situation if he actually fought guys that were going to give him, some real problems, right?
Well, what I'll say on that is that Rolando is actually my teammate, so we have the same coach. Yeah. Coach. What I will say about him is that Rolando's a knockout.
Yeah.
So every punch that he throws, he is throwing with intentions to knock you out or to set you up to knock you out. And his punches only seem crazy because he didn't land the ones that he was intending to land. Any knockout artist that doesn't land the punch he's intending to land, or she is intending to land, it looks crazy only because of the fact that they didn't land the punch. You know? Had that punch landed, it would have been different. It would have looked a lot different. I see him in the gym. I watch him in sparring. And also, back to the styles make fights. Different styles is going to bring out different parts of a fighter. I definitely have looked better in a previous fight than I have in the prior fight. Well, I've never looked as good as my last fight, but like in the past, there's definitely been fights where they were like, you looked better in your last fight, but it's not that I looked bad. It's just styles make fights.
Yeah.
Styles, and his opponents have such different styles every time that Rolando is constantly adjusting and adapting. But of course, he's a knockout artist, so he has to adjust and adapt power punches, like strong, whipping power punches, to fit a style that's not. It's not a knockout artist against a knockout artist. He was fighting like a box. He was trying to box. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he had to adapt and adjust and adapt and adjust while also trying to sit here and knock this man out with every punch that he's throwing. So I wouldn't necessarily say that he looked better. I would just say that the style was different, and the guy was a lot better at evading some of those punches. But they all were getting knocked out. The guys were like, well, they all were getting knocked out anyways.
Yeah, because I like how he fights. I just call him the Cuban Tasmanian Devil, but he be hitting you, and I actually like how he initiates up the punches. It's like, you're there to pressure. You're not there to like just throw wild punches and then just get clipped. He actually uses some IQ with it, but I could definitely see your point of view, and as long as he keeps improving and he admits that his skills needs to get better, then I'm all for it, because that's what I'm here to see. But
Yeah, constantly, working really hard and making improvements, even when he wins. Tasmanian Devil is correct, and out the ring, in and out. He drives us all crazy. But the one and I'm saying, even though he gets on my nerves, is that he does like constantly try to improve. Like he works really, really hard.
yeah,
He's always training. Like he'll be up 3 in the morning, sitting snaps in the gym. Like go to bed. Like why are you at the gym at 3 a.m.? We already trained. It's like so he's always working. He's always working. He's always trying to improve and get better. You go out with him, and he's always shadowboxing. Like we went out, me, him, and like one of our teammates and his partner. We went out to eat like last week. I believe it was last week. We went out to eat last week or the week before. This is shadowboxing. Like anytime you go somewhere with him, shadowboxing, talking about boxing, watching boxing. Oh my god, I was sparring session. Like, I didn't like that. And he'll watch it and oh, I didn't like that. I should have done this instead. So like, he is definitely always trying to improve. He definitely isn't complacent, and he's never content with where he is. He's always striving to be better.
yeah. And that's what I like out of guys that are out of that mindset, because a lot of critics don't really see behind closed doors, and I was actually kind of happy that you brought that up, because I was thinking he has to be dedicated to be at that point of him wanting to call out all these big top names, and hey, if he becomes successful, I am more than happy to be right behind him, because he deserves it. So all credit to him when that time comes.
Yeah. But you also have to like take into consideration that there are different levels of like a mindset in this sport. And Rolando has been through a lot in his life. And boxing, like when he posts, he's like, boxing saved my life. Like he's not over exaggerating. He's not like just saying that. Like it genuinely did save his life, because it came into his life at a time where he really, really needed it. And it has been the only thing like that has kept him sane. Not that he has much sanity left, clearly, but the little that he does have, it is from boxing. So, when you have that, when you cling to something the way that he clings to the sport of boxing, you have to be dedicated. You don't have a choice. It's the only thing that you feel has been there for you when other people haven't.
Yeah.
Or when others haven't. Like when everything else lets you down, you know that you have this. And that thing that doesn't let him down is boxing. So, he definitely is a very dedicated person, and he definitely does have a mindset. He does have the mindset of a champion. He does. He might act like a douchebag, but he has the mind and the heart of a champion. It's really, really deep. It's really deep in there. So deep. But he has it. It's there. I promise. I would lie to you. It's there.
Oh no! That's why I'm looking forward to seeing what he's gonna do, and hopefully, if that fight with Devin Haney could come to fruition, I'd like to see that fight. That'll be a flame fight to watch. But
yeah.
Let's talk about some other stuff. As far as your division goes, now that you got this WIBA title, what's next for you? Are you just gonna go straight to the world champions, or?
Well, I might get a few other like minor belts, just to pad my resume a little bit, and then start hitting the big belts. I'm just trying to hit as many, goals as I can. For me, it's I'm fine with everything and anything, any belt. You could give me the smallest, most minor belts that they consider on the roster, and I'll take it. I'm gonna fight for it. I'm gonna take it. Like these things that I do, and these accomplishments that I make in the sport. It's a lot more than just me. I'm the first professional fighter in my family. I'm the first one to be fighting and going to college and doing all this stuff, and it just means a lot to a lot of people. And I'm not necessarily doing it even for them. I'm not even necessarily doing this for me. I'm doing this for when I start a family in the future, when I'm done with boxing, when I decide to get married, when I have kids. I'm doing all this stuff because I want to encourage my children one day. Like, whatever goals that you have, do it. You want to go to college and play a sport? Do it. I did it. It's like, I just want to be a person that I can look back on and be proud of myself. Okay, I had goals and I did every single thing that I wanted to do. Because life is kind of long. You don't take into consideration, 80, 90 years is a really long time to be alive. It's a lot of years. Everybody's so busy comparing years. I'm 40 something, you're 20, and that's nothing. You haven't been here as long as me. 20 years is a long time to be here. So long. I've been here so long, especially now how the world is changing and how people are getting 20 years is a long time. But sorry, my
iPad's it's all good.
But but it's you have a long life to live. So do everything that you want to do. Make those goals happen. Go to college, be a professional athlete, be a doctor, be a scientist, be an astronaut. Do what you want. I'm doing this because I want to be able to inspire my children. Obviously I would like to be an inspiration to the youth in general, but especially to my kids. I always think if I told my kids this in the future, would they be proud of me? Nah, they wouldn't. I'm not gonna do this. That's how I make my decisions. I know that's far off, but I always think bigger picture because it just helps me make clear decisions for my life now. If I'm would I be proud of myself if I was telling my kids about this? Probably not. So I probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. I want to be the best at what I want to go for, and definitely become a good example for the next generation to come. So, I just like to keep everything at a high, or keep everything with a high chip on my shoulder, and just always keep improving on my goals, and be that great example for somebody else.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up last two topics. The first question would be, what's the experience that you had with? Correct me if I'm wrong. You had associations with training with the Floyd Mayweather gym, right? Could you dive deep into that, right?
Okay. Well, I started there when I was 15. I stopped training there when I was about to turn 20. Because, well, for one, I just felt like I needed to, go elsewhere to better my career, with my coaches. And also, it was right before the pandemic hit. So, even when I left, it was the gym shut down completely, and then they only allowed people who were signed. I'm not signed to them.
Aww.
And said this yesterday in the interview I did yesterday. I'm going to say this in this interview. I am not signed to TMT. I don't know where people are getting this from. I've had a lot, like, so many people come to me. Like, some guy came at me in my comment section about that. Like, oh, you're not signed to TMT anymore. I was like, I was never signed. He's like, you're a liar. You had it in your bio. And I was like,
you money team.
No, I'm not lying. I'm not. I have never been signed to TMT. I just trained there at one point in my life. I trained there, but I'm not with them. Just want to put that out there. But yeah, I mean, it was an equally good and bad experience. There were definitely things that I didn't like, but there were definitely a lot of good opportunities that I had there. A lot of people that I got to meet by training there. You know, so I'm really grateful for my time there, for the experiences that I did enjoy, for the people that I did have the opportunity to meet and get advice from and train with and things like that. But, you know, people move on. People go to bigger and better things. And, you know, we can't stay stuck in one place our entire lives. And I just felt like it was time for me to not be training there anymore. So.
Yeah, like I keep seeing all those crazy spar wars that are going on and guys just getting like extremely personal over like a sparring session.
Yeah, it's a lot deeper than that. You know, a lot of these guys who like get personal over the sparring sessions. You know, they I don't want to say punked, but they've gotten punked in these sparring because Mayweather Gym has. I know you've heard of the dog wars. Everybody's heard of the dog wars. But those are a lot more brutal than people open up about. And I'm going to tell you because, you know, Mayweather put no money in my pocket, so I don't really have to keep quiet about it. But they get brutal. And they get the most brutal when Floyd Mayweather is there. And I'm going to tell you, because he's an instigator. And I'm going to be straight up about that. That man is an instigator. He will sit there and you agree to 5 rounds. Two dudes agree to 5 rounds. They'll do 5 rounds, and then when they want to stop, or when one of them is like, all right, 5 rounds, and I'm about to get out, he will literally sit there and call you every insult in the book. Oh, you want to stop? Oh, after 5 rounds, that's it? And he'll make fun of you, and he will instigate you. And he gets a lot of guys like upset like that, because they obviously don't want to upset Mayweather. So they'll get in there, and they'll just keep going, and keep going, and keep going. And that was like one thing that I didn't like about being in that gym. I felt like that was a very toxic situation.
Yeah.
And but I feel like nobody's learning anything if they're too busy trying to give each other brain damage just for your entertainment. Like I get that you're avid boxing, that you've been in this sport like your entire life, but that does not make it okay to damage other people.
No.
Just you can get a laugh. Because they're brutal. Like, no one's learning anything. No one's taking anything away from that. There's just 2 guys pummeling each other, knocking each other out, and eventually, like, it gets to the point where somebody has to hop in the ring and stop it.
Yeah.
A manager, an uncle, cousin, like a cousin of Floyd's uncle, Floyd's manager, has to hop in the ring and be like, okay, that's it. Y'all are done. Y'all are done.
Yeah.
Because they will keep going and keep going, because he's telling you, if you stop, I don't want to hear from you, I don't want to see you, I don't want to talk to you, like you're nothing because you stopped. Even though they went through with the amount of rounds that they agreed upon.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So, you know, that was just something that I didn't like. And then also, I was like one of the only girls in the gym. Most of the time I was the only girl. Most of the time. But there were times that there were other women in there. And there's just so much testosterone. Too much testosterone in that gym. Too much for me to sustain. It was a lot. It was just a lot. There's always something going on at that gym. A lot of drama. But you know, that's just like one part of like 5 years. You know, a lot. Obviously, I see a lot. It's been a lot. Like over the span, obviously, seen a lot. So I can speak on it. But also, there have been good things. You know, there was a lot of really good people that I met there who gave me a lot of good advice. You know, I formed bonds with LaTondra Jones and
I like
you know, Love and Linnell Bellows, and you know that they sat in the gym with me for half an hour to an hour, 2 hours, talking to me, giving me advice. So things like that, forming bonds like that, it was really important to me, and it really did have an impact on me and my career and the way that I think now. So those things I'm very grateful for. But there are things such as like the dog wars that I couldn't get behind.
Nah, screw that shit, man. Yeah, because I don't like. I've never gone through that when I wrestled in high school, and there's always gonna be like a coach there to break it up if things get personal. But yeah, that's very surprising at a Floyd Mayweather stable. I probably would go to like a more respectful gym that respected.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. Like, it'll happen just, and honestly, I don't really know how they get noticed that it happens. I don't think anybody gets noticed. I think we all just walk in, and then you see, like, a whole bunch of headgears and like, cups laid out on the ring, and we're like, oh, so it's that day. Cool. Like, nobody knows beforehand that this is gonna happen. They just lay everything out on the ring, and people just come in and they go, oh, okay, well, it's that day. But usually people are a lot more respectful of, having rounds or talking and stuff like that. So, it doesn't happen often. I definitely do think that if somebody wants to train there, like, it is a good place to train if that's where you decide is best for you, if you can find a coach there. I have friends who still train there who have coaches there that train them. So there's nothing wrong with the gym. There's just certain things that I don't agree with, and I didn't leave because of those things. I just left because I go where the coaches go where I go, and we just all decided that it would probably be best to train, somewhere else. Plus, one of my coaches is opening a gym. Actually, the grand opening is today, so we're gonna be there.
Oh, nice. I hope that gym goes out well for that coach that you mentioned, but I wanted to ask about one more thing, and I was gonna wrap things up, but let's talk about the final, you know, I guess like recent issue. Like comment on it if you want to, but I guess you were on that all callouts are mandatory thing on Instagram the other day, and like you had that recent beef with that one lady, Tyresha Douglas, right? Could you?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. So me and Tyresha, we don't actually have beef. Like it's not a situation like me and Samira. Like me and Tyresha actually have respect for each other. Like we're in the DMs sending like hearts and kiss emojis. Like what we're talking about is it's purely business. Like we exchange words. We did exchange words, and we have exchanged words. But it's more business than it is beef. Like me and her are cool. She even got on my live and gave me some advice on another situation a few days ago. So there's no beef between me and her. I don't have an issue with her, and she doesn't have an issue with me. But it is business. And that comes with the business. You have to talk crap. Like even to your friends, you have to talk crap. Or even the people that you respect, you have to talk crap. Like that's just how the business goes. So I don't take it to heart what she says. Because she has expressed to me that it's not coming with any malicious intent. She's purely business about it. She made it clear. She was like I respect you. I like you a lot, but this is business. And I was like, okay, I can respect business. I know how to separate my personal feelings from my business feelings, it's just, there's just a difference. You can talk trash about me respectfully. Business-wise. It's when you start talking trash about me personally, disrespectfully, that we have an issue. But no, that's purely business. It is business. It's a business move.
Yeah, because I was hearing that live stream the other day, and it seemed like she was really hyper aggressive, and she was wanting to have all the intentions to try to fight you and knock you out, and I was just like, okay, like is this like an actual rivalry, or am I missing something here?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I was just as caught off guard as everybody else was. I just they're like, we were talking about this the other day, and I was like, I was at the movies. What were we talking about? Like, why am I the topic of conversation? I wasn't even here. Like, I wasn't even in here. And that's how it all started. Because I'm like, I was living my life, and y'all are talking about me. What are y'all talking about? Like, let me live 1 day, 2 days, because I'm constantly checking in when they go live. Obviously, because the point of all call-outs mandatory is not to. Well, I guess it kind of gets messy, but it's not to be messy. It's to support each other, whether it's by fighting each other or by keeping up with what each other's doing and stuff like that. So I always check in when they go live. David Platt, he trained at Floyd's gym with me, so he's known me since I was 15, and so he's constantly supporting me. Like, he's like a brother to me. He's constantly supporting me, So I was trying to check in when he goes live and stuff like that. But then they always drag me into something every time. Every time. They always drag me into something. They added me to the live. I'm thinking they're going to ask me about, my height or, how I feel about something. And then they're like, oh, we were talking about you. I think, I'm being called a bum. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just got from a workout. I'm hungry. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? I'm confused. I mean, it took me a minute to get caught up, and then I was just like, why are you mad? Why are we mad? Why are we arguing?
Yeah, because, I box myself, and I actually ran into two pros. The one pro, I don't know if you know him. His name's Abraham Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Abraham, I want to say he kind of goes through that same motion too, because every time when he's, in a conversation with anybody of people trying to say that, he's not getting his best competition, he's just telling everybody, look, I'm trying to fight everybody. Like, he's been calling out Tank. He's been calling out every single name that you could think of. And I give him nothing but credit because, he wants to be great. And if he wins that world title, he'll be, another world champion here out of Albany, New York, where I'm from. And, I give him nothing but all the credit. And, that's what I want out of every fighter that, holds their words true, to the, press conference, right? Or to the media. And, I want to do my part, as a, alternative, media content creator to make sure that, I give that, proper exposure to the fighters like yourself that are just doing your job to, strive to be great at what, y'all want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. I actually wanted to say, as far as any fight networks that you, I guess, have aspirations to fight on, would it ever be possible that you could possibly be on networks like PBC, DAZN, Top Rank, right?
It's definitely possible. I'm not opposed to it. It is possible in the future. Right now, I'm just.
Oh shit. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I think she. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's coming back. Sweet. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hello? Yeah, that sucks. Oh. Hello.
Sorry, my iPad died.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, you were saying about the PBC DAZN thing.
Yeah, it's definitely possible in the future. I'm not opposed to it. We have to wait and see what happens. Right now, I'm just trying to hit my goals independently. Once I hit my goals and I do everything that I wanted to do independently, then, I will go back to these offers that I have gotten and I'll see which works best for me, and then, we'll see which one I'll be fighting on. Maybe I'll. No, I'm just playing, but we'll see.
Yeah, because I like to see you on, PVC, DAZN, Top Rank. That would be the ultimate platform that I like to see a lot of female fights on, because it's pretty disappointing that there's not enough cards with like a lot of women on it, and it's just like so boring just seeing like a all male card. I'd like to see at least like 2 to 3 female fights, and at least make it like maybe like the third to second to last fight before like the co-main event. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and well, I mean, as women's boxing more attraction, it'll happen. We just have to keep going, keep moving, keep gaining this attraction, gaining this fan base.
Yeah, because I was telling like another fighter that I speak to. His name is Cordell Booker. He used to fight on PBC, in the past, but he's a free agent, and I don't know if you can agree with me, but I think that the sport of boxing should be like marketized similar to like maybe like the UFC or the NBA. Maybe have like a fighters league association where like everyone fights each other and there's no ducking and dodging. And if you want to get to that title for that given league itself, that'll prove who's at the best at their own division. And also like maybe if it's better, maybe just like limit weight classes too, so that way everybody can all have what the proper fights to be made. Because what I don't like about the sport is like, especially with like certain like title fights or contender fights, a lot of not all the time, but some of those fights are being put at like catch weights that don't make any sense. And it's like, if you're gonna fight at a certain weight, then agree to fight at that certain weight. Don't make excuses to say that, oh well, I can't fight at this weight, blah blah blah. Like, because it's really hard for those fighters that have to cut down or try to like make that weight in the first place. And it's like, especially with these like sanctioning bodies that try to like make it difficult for like what the rehydration clauses, just to make it harder for you to actually rehydrate to a certain weight to make you feel comfortable on fight night, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just figured that I bring that up because I was just a bit confused out of that. And I guess like the last thing that I like to ask is, do you have any final messages for your fans and supporters that are watching this video, or that look up to you?
I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate, all the support. I did not think when I was in the amateurs that I would like be here in the pros. Like I didn't even think about it. I didn't think like, oh, I'd have like all these supporters. It's kind of like, it's amazing. It's surreal. It's but I'm very appreciative. I try my best to get to know my fans the best that I can. That's why I hive and I like to talk to them. I try to answer DMs as much as I can. So I really appreciate it. I really, I appreciate the support. That's what you need in this sport. Is you need a lot of support. Because that support that you get, these people are going to be watching you. Like, these people are what makes my career work. I'm like, I wouldn't have a career without all my supporters. And also, I really appreciate you for bringing me on and having me on this interview.
Yeah, I'm just happy to just help out about the sport, and just have a good connection with like fighters that actually want to bring back the old but the old lineages of it. And I'm happy that I was able to get this video done, and just share it out to the fans. But I appreciate you a lot. Can't wait for the next fight. Hope you dominate every single lady out there. Samira Estrada, you better take this fight with this woman, or else she gonna come after you. Uh, no fear, no doubt. The Black Rose, Miss Undisputed, future world champion of the world. Please go check her out. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, hate, comment, subscribe. And I'm out. See you later. Thank you very much. All right. I guess I will see you later.
All right, see you later. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yep. Peace out. Have a good day.
Is it gonna be on YouTube?
Oh yeah. It will.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. I'll catch you around.
Bye.
Bye.